Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the English broadcast of the Chinese LPL. We are live from Shanghai, and you can see it is a beautiful day here in Shanghai. It's actually a little bit cooler today, which actually feels quite nice. And EDG and Rogue Warrior is going to be a title fight on this one. Our two LPL Rift Rivals representatives are going toe-to-toe. Now, I'm just a little bit distracted right now because there is a giant cat down there that you're probably going to see just in a second on our jib shot, but fantastic. Raz, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I mean, I got a picture of that thing, so I definitely, after the show, I'm getting a picture with it.
Yes,
because it's definitely super cute, and it's a Rogue Warriors fan, so we'll see afterwards.
Rasquawa.
There it is, it's on the left!
Ah, there it is, bottom left-hand corner. Fantastic. All right, let's get into Champions League, ladies and gentlemen. This definitely has been a bit of a rush, of course, because we just finished our previous set, but here we go into Champions League. EDG versus Rogue Warriors. It will be Vladimir, Kled, and Aatrox to take us in here from EDG as the bans, and Rogue Warriors will take away the Nocturne, the Darius, and Zoe.
So immediately the Aatrox and the Kled are Doinb bans. Doinb has had a phenomenal split thus far, and he's been able to just showcase what he's got. He's played Kled, he's played the Aatrox to such fluency, so you need to get it off of him.
100%. EDG will lead with their Taliyah pickup right here. Can go into the jungle, can also go into the mid lane for Scout. Has been a major pick for him, not only in summer, but also spring.
I like this so far. EDG, of course, having Haro to start off instead of Clearlove. The biggest difference being that Haro has a champion pool that he can go towards more early game picks. So the Taliyah is something that I expect Haro to play for himself. Even though Scout isn't a phenomenal Taliyah player, I expect that to be a strong flex pick. Meanwhile, if Clearlove was starting out, then I wouldn't expect it to be coming into his court.
Indeed. Just trying to get a little bit more practice for their jungler as we move into Rift Rivals next week. Now, Rogue Warriors looking towards a Camille and a Morgana pick has been locked in here for themselves, Raz.
And the best thing about this meta for Flawless is that he can have his early game bruisers. He can go towards the Camille and have the early game impact he couldn't at the end of Spring Split. So this has been a phenomenal split thus far for Flawless as well, and we get to see what he can do.
Yes, sir, and this makes me happy, always happy to see an Aurelia come out here for EDG. We'll see where it goes exactly. We could definitely go over to Scout's very capable hands.
Yeah, you'd expect it to go towards Scout. I'm just sad. I want to see it on Ray's shoulders because when it first came out, I was checking out Ray's stream, and he was consistently playing the champion.
A lot, yeah.
He loves the Aurelia pick, but obviously it makes more sense to go towards the mid lane.
We're going to have ourselves a Raka pick into the bottom lane here for Mako. Still no beat on what the AD carry is going to be or whether it's going to be an AD carry at all. Rogue Warriors over to them, it will be just a simple Mundo pickup for themselves.
But you can already see EDG's challenging the bottom lane. Already seeing the Morgana come out from Rogue Warriors, saying that we'll challenge it with a counter in the Soraka pick. So even just saying that we're actually going to move away from tank engage supports from Mako and say that we're just focusing on the 2v2 lane, I want to see if Rogue Warriors hold their last pick for SMLZ. If they can do that, then they can at least impact the AD carry matchup.
I would love to see it. SMLZ has also shown a propensity to move to some of the newer picks that we've seen on this current patch, including the Heimerdinger. And he could definitely go that direction if he wants to this game. Kennen will be the ban out against EDG right here, followed by an Ornn towards Rogue Warriors. Also keep in mind, Doinb has taken the Ornn to mid lane as well as the Kled, as well as the Aatrox. Now he will have to bring something new to the table because the only other pick we've seen from him is the Cassiopeia at 2 games on that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's always interesting to see what Rogue Warriors can do on the red side because that's when they can struggle to say if it's going to be SMLZ or Doinb that has the last pick because both of them have a very deep champion pool. It's lovely to see what they were willing to play. I think Rogue Warriors can take the risk and say that we can go towards a Heimerdinger or Karthus in the bottom side of the map because it's not something you can outright counter in the dual lane. So it's a strong pick. You can save for Doinb's last pick. I want to see what they end up going for.
Because that's the important thing here. EDG has chosen and opted towards banning away Doinb, whereas many other teams have banned away the bottom lane, actually, from SMLZ and Kahlua. So they're actually taking an entirely different approach right here. And now that they have hit all Doinb's champions, now they can move to something like this Alistar. A rare shot there of SMLZ smiling on that side. I love it. And Lucian will be the final ban out here against EDG, followed by a Shen pick from Rogue Warriors.
Now what we can see here is that it's going to be Shen bottom lane. So immediately what tells me Morgana is going to be the AD carry, or at least the bottom laner. SMLZ should pick that support up for himself. And then what you're seeing is a bottom lane that has such strong pick potential. If you're EDG, there's not something that you can really counteract that with unless if you go towards something like a mage as well, like a Ziggs, for instance. What I expect them to do is pick a Kaisa. There we go. There we go. pick a Kai'Sa, recognize that you're going to get pushed in a little bit, and have a stronger team fight.
Yeah, of course, look for those big on fights in the end. You look for some skirmishes as well with this Talia and the Aurelia. Cinch will go into the top lane as well for Edward Gaming. We're just waiting 10 seconds left for them to confirm this Kai'Sa pick, but maybe just be giving themselves some time as well to think about what they want to be doing in the early game. An extra couple seconds with their coach can be invaluable against an undefeated team in the form of Rogue Warriors.
Now we get to see what Doumbé wants to pick for himself. Technically, he can still go Morgana mid. Oh, please, lock it in. Do this for me.
Here it is, Renekton. We've only seen him, I believe, twice so far in the LPL, and I don't think he won either of those games, but third time's the charm.
And you know why he picks it, and it's always a question of why are we seeing Renektons come into the mid lane? It's specifically the matchup. Aurelia is known as a top mid laner towards her and Zoe, just because she's a bruiser, has the consistent damage. If she gets a stun, she has multiple dash forwards. But she has bad matchups in the top side of the map.
Yes.
That's why we've seen Darius's come up versus the mid lane Aurelia, and now we're seeing Renektons as well. So expecting him to keep the Ignite and to just try and skirmish as much as possible. The classic OG counter to the Aurelia.
She is abysmal against many of these bruiser matchups, as you pointed out, Raz. And yeah, I think he will keep that Ignite and try and put him down in this mid lane, try and get some advances early, because you're talking about EDG in the early game. They like to play a bit slower, get towards an out of laning phase towards those team fights, but Rogue Warriors might try and shut them down before they get to that point. And remember, a lot of the Rogue Warriors wins so far in the split have actually come from them being behind early and then coming in hard with the haymaker in the mid game and winning a team fight.
And this is when we should start dialing back expectations of what EDG's identity was, because I agree, they slow it down because ordinarily in the last split, their early game was around iBoys, Caitlyn, Varus picks, get that bottom lane tower down by 8 minutes. But now, putting in Haro's Talia changes things. Now you have an early game jungler that wants to force lanes early on. That can speed things up as well. We don't get to see this at a clear love. This could be a change in styles.
Majestic.
Incredible.
The fans are out in force here today. It's a packed house right now. I don't think there's a single empty seat because, of course, two massive teams coming here head-to-head in the Shanghai Arena.
And you know what? You're not going to get the tickets to go to Dalian. Why not get Rogue Warriors and EDG hometown in Shanghai? Why not get these teams to play up today? So, I mean, they're getting the best bang for the buck.
It'll be an exciting one for sure. And you're right, I do think this could be a fast early game for them. Tempo in the jungle. Haro also taking to the field for one of the first times this split. Primarily, Clearlove has been starting, and Clearlove has had a really good start. But if you want to try and mix it up, if you also want a different style of play in the jungle, it also makes sense, because Clearlove has very much gone back to literally the Sejuani. Like, he's gone back to his OG picks and has gone slow.
Yeah, Sejuani, Nocturne, slower junglers that are really focused on the jungle support control focus. That's what we've been seeing out of EDG that's been slowing them down a little bit. With this iteration, and now we get to see a style shift from EDG just a little bit. If Haro comes in just to pick up these early game junglers, maybe even the Nidalee picks, because he's even a Rengar player as well, and we've seen Rengar popping up a little bit from SOFM's end. So if they decide to go back towards the gold funneling into a carry jungler, that's where I see Haro existing. That's where I see it working. So it's going to be fun to see if this strategy works versus the top team in the Western Conference.
Because if you think about his history right here as a player, he didn't have a good start to when he initially came on to EDG. He was one of the major pain points for the team, but that was when he was playing around the original strategy that EDG had, which was move towards the bottom lane, set him up, that classic 4-man play into the bottom lane, set up iBoy, and see what you can do. It was never about Haro. He was a supporting member. He was supporting Cass. So you're right. How can he do when he's got the cards in his court? Oh, there's the cat.
There you are.
There it is.
Excellent. Is that even a person in there? I think it's just
moving
literally.
Before.
Yeah, it was literally moving before. I promise you there's someone in there.
We're not crazy.
Maybe the person is moving. I don't even know anymore. Oh,
they shook hands with that person, so.
We just need a camera on that.
Maybe take
cats for a long time.
Cats do that. It's a little cat nap.
It's all good.
Either way, guys, as you can see, we are just looking at the players, so there is a small delay on stage. No update as to what it is, though. I actually just had in my ears it is a lobby remake. Now, we've pretty much had one every single set of the day and all week. So, yeah, just hold tight. We should have this one resolved as fast as possible. and then again, we'll update you as soon as we can.
Yeah, literally has never happened before. And as you can see on the screen, there's a lot of love for the casters. I love them too. If I had a sign, I'm sure there would be a camera on me.
Yep.
Oh, a wristband. Okay, so this is what I love. Because you need to protect your wrists. You really do need to do that. The way I protect my wrists is I literally have my entire arm on the desk when I'm doing it.
Right, yeah.
It's the same style that a lot of CSGO people do.
They move the whole arm instead of the wrist, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it really does protect it, other than having your hand just literally, or at least your wrist, literally just banging on the corner of the desk. It's not healthy. So having a wrist guard, I always wondered if that was going to be a thing coming in from a basketball background. I suppose we get to see a few players use it.
Yeah, it makes sense. I know Dom, actually, one of our casters on the LPL, started to try and change to the arm moving method, and I was unfortunate enough to have to play video games with him during that time, and he was god-awful for a good couple of weeks, but then slowly adapted, and then everything's still the same. Still using a thing, it's still the same, but it's an adaptation period, and it may actually be better in the long run for some of these players.
Yeah, I agree. It always comes down to whether or not you want to change anything about like how you utilize your setup.
Yeah.
Now, as you can see from Haro's setup, he has a blanket or whatever on top of it. We've seen that from Crumbs in the past, actually. When Crumbs was playing as a professional player, he would have a cloth on top of his mouth because he would sweat quite a bit.
Yep.
And you never want that to happen. It gets really annoying while you're playing the damn game. So there's a lot of things that are really odd for any player, any gamer out there. And you'd be like, what? Wait, how do you even click buttons? But they've gotten used to that. They've gotten used to the format, and it's interesting to see.
Yeah, especially if you're at the top of your game and you have been playing for such a long time using that method. It's go back to our conversation we were talking about earlier today about different peripherals. You know, we're talking about like the good old curb trackball, and the fact that Doinby is actually using a wireless mouse right this second. So, hey, super carry dancing. I assume the other
they
one
just keep adding more
Doinby.
titles to his name.
Yeah, but it's all about Doinby. It's all about Doinby.
Super carry Doinby, the big one, because this team, their major success does come off of Doinby playing carries as well. He is insane in the fact that he's flexible, playing towards the Lulu supports when he first started out. He was the first one in the globe, really going back towards Lulu mid lane. So his supportive champions, his karmas, great. He's known for it. People ban it away from him. But when he goes on towards the Victor, Vladimir, these, I mean, sometimes Kassadin, excellent carries, he ends up performing still. And so if you're going up against Rogue Warriors, you're going up against SMLZ and Doinby that are literally just at your neck in team fights.
This is the duo to look out for sure on Rogue Warriors. If it's one of the first times you're actually watching this team, well, this is going to be a good one to watch because they are undefeated heading into this matchup against Edward Gaming. Next week, they're going to be heading to Rift Rivals as well. In fact, both of these two teams will be. We actually had Invictus Gaming and Invictus Gaming and Royal Nova Give Up face earlier this week, actually yesterday as our match of the week. So we've seen all of our Rift Rivals teams actually go toe-to-toe with each other, and all of them do look on form. RNG more than ever. Now I get to see these two teams here today. Actually played on Friday against different teams.
Yeah, this is what I love about how the LPL teams are shaping up going into Rift Rivals. All of them seem to be on the top of the game. If you look at the top of the tables, these teams are sticking there. That's excellent. It's not the same case when you look towards the LCK. It's hard to say with LMS because they've only just started out their split. Flash Wolves are still looking strong. So it's going to be interesting to see. I understand Wink. I got you there.
I don't understand the rest of it.
But I think LPL's at a proper spot. Not only are they, it's a short travel to Dalian, your backyard
territory,
but also it seems like you're still in top form from this previous split.
It's been strong so far. We're seeing good performances from across the board. Edward Gaming even just getting an extra bit of time now of Haro into the jungle is nice to see. On the Rogue Warriors side, Rogue Warriors to me is very funny as a team. Every time I watch them, I'm just like, oh no, this is the time that we're going to drop a game. I never really favored them heading into a matchup, and then here we are in week 3 and they've won everything. Because it always just comes down to a clutch fight or a clutch play. And honestly, I'm not sure if they've been fully tested yet in the LPL, so this game in particular will be very fun to watch.
Yes, to say the first point, I mean, Rogue Warriors, Doinby had an interview with Clement. Thank God it happened, because by the end of it, he made a mention of the fact that after their disappointing performance in Demacia Cup, they really were motivated as a team. They pushed themselves to be the hardest working team in the LPL, and this is the benefit of it. They came off just firing shots at every team. Now remember, they're in the Western Conference, so a lot of these teams aren't shaping up to your next point, which is being tested. This is their true test, going up against EDG.
The final exam.
And then going up against their former Eastern Conference friends in the cross conference, RNG, Invictus Gaming. I don't think the you know, this track will last very long going up against these top-tier teams, but they'll still be at the top of the tables based off this performance, and it's nice to see.
Yeah. Currently, guys, we don't have any updates for you, unfortunately. Who it is, what the peripheral issue is, or if it is even a peripheral issue at all. So once we have that information, we'll send it your way. The refs on stage are hard at work and trying to make that one happen. And again, as we find it out, you will find it out at the same time. Totally agree with you though, Raz. EDG have been ramping Rogue Warriors the same, but if you haven't seen Rogue Warriors at all as we head into this international, this is new. Back in spring, they were also taking names. We called it the Revenge Tour because Rogue Warriors, they're very much a team of misfits that came together from different teams. They all had a bit of baggage with them, and they were like, okay, time to take some names. And they went through every single one of those teams and blasted them.
And it's so cool to see them just style every single time they take those wins, because when Doomby got the victory versus JD, that was when he was standing up and dancing. Those are the clips we play when they end up taking victories with its former teams to go up against. And then when SMLZ did it, now he's not an expressive person, but he was still giving them the white flag. He gave them the white flag.
Yeah.
So it's so fun to see them go up against former teams, and now it's going to be Mouse going up the former team. EDG.
All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting onto the Rift live in Shanghai between Edward Gaming and Rogue Warriors. They've literally gone rogue.
Hey man, she heard the first chant. It was weak as hell, and she had to step up.
She stepped in.
Hell yeah, you gotta do it. I'm not having a weak chant in my stadium.
Not here, not now, not here today against Edward Gaming. I respect it. She's definitely stayed with Rogue Warriors for a while through all of these arenas. You know, I was thinking of last split, there was only really the JD guy who was just coming in every single time, of course, the commander of the team. I feel like we're starting to get some strong ringleaders across the board for some of these top teams.
And you need ringleaders. Right now, WE has that technically, if you want to call it drama ringleader, since it mans the call, everybody gets rallied around it. It's fun. If you don't have that, it feels bad. The players will hear it. Remember that, because it picks up in the microphones. So you want to at least know that the audience is on your side. You want to feel like you're the antagonist. Some people get off on that, but you do want to know that you're going in there with some support.
See, that is the thing, Raz, because we have lots of different venues, which means that you have to, because I swear, the JD guy had found the microphone, the crowd mic, in every venue, and then just camped next to it for his chance every single time. That's dedication.
Now, that's the narrative you play-by-plays want to set forth, but I like to believe that he's just a naturally loud human being.
Oh, he is.
And he isn't eating that microphone. Now, he may be. I'll leave that out there for the audience to decide. But that guy has the voice of a demon. Gonna let that out there.
He does. Unleashed. Now, I'm not crazy. Hopefully we get a shot of that cat, because it's moving right now, I swear. It's actually moving here. We can take a look at the picks and bans once again, as Doimby is just making sure that he is hydrated within the eyes as well as his body. But again, guys, we don't have an update for you. I believe it must be another graphical bug as we've headed into game. That's what we've had throughout the day and the week. So once we manage to get more information, we'll send it your way, Raz.
And so let me take a look at the pick bans immediately, because it's nice to set that for you guys. And now, as I say that, we're immediately just dropping down the graphic and moving on to the game. So, you know, it's better to see it while we actually get into the Rift itself.
Yeah, drop it like it's hot and just get us in there. That's what we all want to see. It's what I want to see, what you want to see. The whole audience here in the Shanghai Arena wants to see. We want to get on to the Rift as fast as possible so we can start seeing some sparks fly. Here we go, back into the Rift once again.
No, the crowd has already chanted. They ain't going to do it again.
They're recharging right now. They're on cooldown.
Yeah, next game. Next game. Unless if they have some powerful batteries underneath them.
There you go. Take a look at the keystones real quick. Pretty common across the board. Of course, we want to take a look at the Renekton, what he's doing. He's picking up the triple tap on the press the attack in the mid lane against this Aurelia. Of course, a naturally good matchup. Going to be even more dominant now. Yeah,
people have been talking about Conquerors versus press the attack on Renekton, but he just does more damage with press the attack. And get it very quickly with just his W and auto attack. Easy, just like that. Has 2 procs off his W, so slice dice for easy to follow up immediately afterwards. Right now, it's what you expect if Scout ever finds himself nearby Doomby.
Yep, we'll get that one charged up and do the extra % damage, 12%. And very close in the fan vote as well coming into this game. Actually, slight edge over to Rogue Warriors as well. Which makes sense since they're undefeated. Oh, nice little shadow dash in the bottom lane onto Mako. Plus the aftershock damage drops him down to half. Absolutely perfect. But now Kalua is getting absolutely punished on this one. He is incredibly low, looking for the flash forwards. iBoy last door to attack, and that'll be first blood.
Yeah, so he paid the iron price, realizing that SMLZ ain't level 2, so there's no follow-up there. It's literally just Morgana throwing auto attacks, maybe a Tormented Soil, but where is your damage? So Killua, all on his own, made a crucial mistake.
Absolutely disastrous in the bottom lane right there, and that was them opting towards that trade in the first place. Remember, we want iBoy to be big if you're Edward Gaming right here, so to get that initial first kill is fantastic for them.
And in the fashion that it's done as well. So if you are Haro, you know where your pressure is going to be lying right now. He's going to have to be playing towards bottom lane because, I mean, iBoy doesn't have flash, but he also has the early kill. I wonder if he gets an early base to get the extra Doran's item. Let's see. No, he hasn't gotten it for himself, but he has the kill gold, so he just needs to find the proper time.
Nice little thing there from Scout with that combo, but will be caught on the back end. And a W there from Doinby. Also just took a look at the runes once again, just to reiterate, pressing the attack with his Keystone Mastery. And also with the coup de grace and triumph on top of that. Flawless looking for a gank potentially over the wall here, Raz.
Really? Let's go.
Jump forwards, finds the stun, follow up. Oh, Scout is dead where he stands.
Just like that. Empowered W from Renekton and followed up by the Camille. I was just about to say that Flawless and Doinby need to be tag teaming this game. Double press the attack, double bruiser. They will do so much damage if they're right on top of you. They found the opportunity. He was full HP. Scout didn't see it coming.
Now, SMLZ has been spectacular this split so far. You can see it reflected in the stats right here, and he's actually leading in some of these stats as well against iBoy, who has equally been doing just as well in his own role. Now, I am looking towards Haro currently, who is sat in the wings here on this Taliyah, thinking about a gank into the bottom lane, as SMLZ and Kalua are stepping up.
All the proper stats for EDG when it comes to iBoys. Section on around the fact that there's a lot of skirmishes here. This is going to be one of them.
Kalua under threat, dashes away from the flick. He will live to see another day as Flawless is now walking into the bottom lane. Look for the recall. Nice dark binding onto Mako. Drops into half.
Yeah, and you know, Flawless is just there to back them up. At this point in time, he doesn't have his flash, so he doesn't have the extended hook shot flash engage opportunity. And even engaging on towards what EDG's 3-man, if it's not going to be on Soraka, it's very dicey. So it's a good call. Play it safe. You already have yourself the mid lane lead.
1-1 in total in this game. Kalua still being pressured down in this bottom lane. Difficult for this lane really to find any purchase. As you mentioned, the Soraka came in after the Morgana as that counter. And also Kalua just finding it hard as a melee matchup right here. You can see 3 games, 3 wins for Scout, 1 loss. 3 solo kills in this champion. So far, 0-1 in this lane.
Yeah, we have some excellent Irelia players here in the LPL.
Oh, yes,
Scout is definitely one of them. One of the major criticisms that we have towards him is that he has a very small effective champion pool, especially now Taliyah moving towards more of a jungler. We still see some Taliyah mid laners, but that would you would see as all now he just lost another champion, but now he's picked up the Irelia and he's looking fabulous on it.
He is indeed. I think towards the likes of Scout, Fen, even FireRain's been making a name for himself recently. Plasma just connecting onto Kalua in the bottom lane, but I think he's trying to interrupt some of these recalls. Mako just playing bodyguard here for him. One that mid lane, once again trading off as Flawless is just constantly providing support, hovering around the area just in case someone is looking for a gank.
Yeah, bad news for Rogue Warriors. They actually missed their opportunity to contest Raptors here. For Flawless to consistently be tag teaming with Doinby, he needs these Raptors. That's the only way he consistently can do this while keeping up in experience while denying Haro that. So now Flawless needs to actually look back in his own camps. Maybe look towards the red buffing Krugs. But if he does that, obviously, he won't be alongside Doinby. So he needs to look towards and time the next Raptors.
Constellation prize. Managed to pick up the control award there, but you're absolutely right on the money there, Raz. Falling a little bit behind here, so he'll go back to his own jungle, move towards the top side of the map. This guy himself is just farming up. Constantly pushed in by this poor matchup is the Renekton into Irelia here. Haro, low on HP, low on mana. Probably just take this grump and probably look to go back to base. But it just means that Flawless may have an opportunity to move into top lane. As Ray is perma pushing up here with Mouse just hitting 6.
I wouldn't count on it. It's always tough. Sure, Mouse has his ultimate and flash, but just chasing down a Singe, the information that provides, it's like you won't get the kill, and even if you do, then you would expect Haru to be on the bottom side of the map. Sure, he based, but that information isn't privy to Rogue Warriors. So they're just going to play it safe. Mouse is just expecting that it's going to be a 1v1 for quite some time.
As is the top lane nowadays, unfortunately, Raz. It's always top lane Iron to the extreme. Very rarely see anyone go up there. Maybe you see a pre-6 gank onto a Mundo, but that's like it.
You should be happy about that.
I know, it's true. It didn't reflect in solo queue though. That's the problem.
That's true.
In
I still level 2 gank top lane so
Equinox landing. SMLZ slow on the black shield right there to follow through. Comes through. Oh, flash goes down. The banana's not enough. And SMLZ will survive.
My goodness, he was so close to death. He's going to stick around because he has a few potions to him. So that was so close. He even has the biscuit. So he's alright. He ain't going to back. But that was very close to death.
Yes, it was. Again, just checking in on the fact that SMLZ is playing Morgana in this game. It's not a true marksman down here for himself, but he has shown that he will move towards picks like the Heimerdinger, like the Morgana, be very happy to do so while also performing at the same time. So just talking about the versatility of SMLZ as a player, as you can see, folks, we do have another pause on screen. And again, we will try and get that information to you as fast as possible as to what is going on.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, that's cool to see that he's now going towards the Morgana pick. That just means that he's truly flexible. The game doesn't have to be in his court all the time. Willing to now put the basketballs in Doinby's baskets. That's right, I'm going all on.
I got you, I'm following.
Yeah, don't challenge me.
So good, Raz. But SMLZ, you talk about it doesn't have to be the SMLZ show. Yeah. But the funny thing is, he is so consistent as an AD carry at the same time as well. You can put those eggs in his basket and he will do an incredible job. But it's also the fact you have other people on the team who can also do just as well. Doinby has showed himself to be a massive player for the team on top of that. Even Mouse has been showing up on these tanks. Like, there are other ways to win that isn't just SMLZ. And conversely, you have Doinby, and it always used to be about Doinby, only Doinby. Yeah. And he can now put focus onto the bottom lane as we get back into game.
So I'm going to funnel a little bit more because I think that Mouse can play carries in the future. He's done it a few times, but he's not going to be able to, he's not going to be the man that goes into it and puts the team on his back. It's going to be Doinby, you're right. And I would say that it's going to be Flawless. Flawless has had phenomenal performances even without the Lee Sin. So I think right now he has a lot of faith in Doinby.
Stun down onto Doinby. I mean, that was a very ambitious there from Haru if he wanted that to happen. Probably had to exit the bush a little bit earlier. That Flawless Duet stun is very, very short. So you're going to have to capitalize on that timing with the flick.
And it's just so hard to gank a Renekton. Yeah. Remember, Slice and Dice is in his kit. Even looking for that, he's not going to blow his flash. So it's just so tough to make it happen when you don't have the follow-up.
That, and he still held onto Dominus, and he has flash on top of that. Like, yeah, ganking this guy impossible. At the very least, you're trying to burn a summoner off him, but even at that point, difficult. Now looking back towards this bottom lane, some advantage over to iBoy, but this is being evened up by the fact that you do have that Targon from Kahlua. Now, Doinby on the aggressive into the enemy jungle. This ruthless predator is hunting.
We've got a problem.
What is it, Raz?
There's a Glacial Shroud on my Morgana.
Yes, there is.
So this is not an AP Morgana. It seems like it's just going to be a support one. I think he's going to go towards the Zeeks. We'll see what ends up happening here if this dive comes through properly. But seems like it's all going to be on Flawless and Doinby to get the damage down. If it doesn't work, then they just don't have damage in their composition. Let's go.
Shadow Dash Flash onto one, chasing Mako down back to his tower. This is a dead rocket, but buys some time with the perfect timing. iBoy still staying at the tower as he gets the wish up. Double teleports coming in, but it's a 2 versus 4. Going to be cancelled on both sides.
There we go. Streams are coming through, but they get cancelled out. Now it's Scout's TP, so Ray still has his teleport available to himself. So TP advantage, you would say, to EDG, that they can still make a play happen in bottom lane. That's why Rogue Warriors just back away entirely.
Now, in B4, just saying, this is an Iceborne Gauntlet from SMLZ. Now, you're probably saying, why? But it's because Doinby's on the team and he may have just infected
I'm not going to hear this. Not going to happen. If it happens, then this is when you... So when I turn the channel, I change it.
It is the apocalypse.
Yeah. Not going to allow it. If not on my candidate day, goddammit.
Then it can happen on this Morgana.
I'm supposed to be celebrating today. You know?
That's true.
My maple syrup and all that. I'm not going to be happy if I see an Iceborne Gauntlet Morgana.
So it's meant to be maple syrup and moose. Flawless, just going to give him a love tap in the top lane. Ray just knows he's there. Oh, are you kidding me? That connected from SMLZ. Here comes Jen on top of that one as well. iBoy forced the flash away.
There we go. I mean, even though they committed towards the tail, oh my god.
Oh, they're going to build a wall, and Kahlua is bloody blocking right now, but SMLZ is caught between a full rock and a big hard place. Haru finds the kill.
They're just getting hard camped. I mean, SMLZ's found a pick. He got a lot of damage towards iBoy. He's feeling himself, and he's like, the jungler's here again. That's upsetting.
It just keeps on going. Ultimatum in the top lane, but thrown away, I should say. Ray going to be caught out by Dormy in the rotation. Dropped low, but the Insanity Potion helping him to stay alive.
There's not much Rogue Warriors are getting here. They're going to be challenging for the tower, but they don't have a wave. Okay, seems like they're going to try and defend with Morgana. They're going to be doing all right here. So Rogue Warriors are actually in a positive position.
Strong in the early game, finding first tower of the game, sling themselves into the lead in terms of gold. And Rogue Warriors now have control over top side, which means Shelly is on the menu.
Yes, they should take it. I mean, at this point, even if EDG know, they don't want to challenge the Camille and, well, they just don't want to challenge the top side too. I mean, as a whole, even if it's just the 2 mid with the Renekton, Mundo's there too. So EDG are in a rough spot, and they need to be in a position to now defend the Rift Trail that's going to be taken.
Indeed, this is going to go as flawless right here. And then it's just a matter of where they're going to put it. Well, mid lane seems very nice. There'll be constant wave setup coming in from this Renekton. Bot lane's also a possibility. Top lane tower's already dead. And pushing in, Mouse is continuing to do so because he also knows forces around the area.
You want to put the Rift Trail down mid lane at this point. Morgana's doing well enough, even if she doesn't take the bottom lane tower. She's just going to be able to help out the mid lane team, provide space with her Dark Binding. We saw that in the previous game as well. So it's nice to see that Rogue Warriors have the ability to still zone and still siege when they have quadruple melee. So it's ridiculous on their end, but I think Morgana should be enough to allow the Rift Trail to strike this mid lane tower.
So just rotating back towards the bottom lane here, nothing special, but we'll be caught out on that crab vision. Top lane just picked up a banner command first for Mouse. So there might be a very big push on the horizon, pairing that one up with the Herald. We'll see. Because I know in just our last set, Raz, we saw a Herald push in top lane from outer turret to inhib. Yeah,
you know what? I feel like this is going to be the last time we get to see Mr. Banner Minion. Because remember, this is going to be our last set before Rift Rivals. And we're going to be moving on to the next patch where he gets absolutely demolished. So, you know what? Send the salutes.
It's a send-off.
Goodbye, my friend.
Make it a good one. Make it a good push.
Annoy every single one of these EDG players.
Oh, it's been placed down.
There we go.
Top lane now.
This is me. Now this is just the banner. We need a second stream, the LPL 2 channel, so you can just specifically focus on the banner of command minions.
Yeah, we just follow the minion running down lane.
Yeah. I know a lot of these regions, EU, NA, they have the perspective streams. We just need the minion perspective streams.
Yeah. We've even named him in ours when he's got the Baron buff. He's Banendorf, you know? Runs down the mid lane, wrecks some towers. We'd love to see that. But join me, setting up the mid wave. There's the Herald over the wall, Raz.
Yeah, here we go. And I mean, you can see Shen moving in as well. Morgana's actually committed to the bottom lane.
And they're doubling down onto Scout right here. Brings up the Blade Cage onto the entire push right here. But Shelly is going to find the charge. The rest of Rogue Warriors, good defuse coming out here from EDG.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned the fact that they were quadruple melee. They needed the Morgana. SMLZ was walking mid lane, and then he sees a big bottom lane wave. He's like, I'm gonna take this first. You need the Morgana. You need her. Even if she doesn't have as much AP because of what she's building, it's still great zoning tools. So it's unfortunate. They still have it low so they can actually group on towards it if they get another bottom lane push.
True. You saw the idea right there from Rogue Warriors. Collapse, kill Scout, look for one push, look for the second tower. It was perfect in theory, but EDG with a great read and a great reaction in the moment means that the mid lane tower is still standing. It's on its last legs. But to defuse the Herald like that, good stuff. Now, for now, I'm just resetting. Join me still pushing up the mid lane. Haro actually looking towards mid lane. Yeah, instant slice and dice away there. Just not want to be caught out by Araka just placing down the silence field.
Yeah, this is an awkward game for Haro. Sure, he's got himself that one kill, but focusing towards Renekton just showcases that he doesn't really have an option in these lanes. Talia is fantastic for ganks, but if you go to the bottom lane, you see Morgana. So you need to have ulti so you can actually place a proper wall. Go mid lane, slice and dice. Top lane, Mundo. It's very hard to set up a gank here properly. You might be able to set up a wall here. They're just going to look for this one.
Sticking this brush. And again, the wall went well the first time around, but now there's double flashes from SMLZ and Kahlua. So
there's going to
would be burning summoners.
Yeah, the summoners, maybe they can chase up on that, but really it's just setting up for the next fight. Let's see how well this one goes.
It will be off of this one, yeah.
Oh,
EDG are pushing forwards, yeah. I'm looking towards Flawless though in the mid lane as well. Ultimatum is ready, as is the flash. So if Joinby has the damage, there is a possibility here.
We need a double screen, see what happened in both these ganks. Talia's moving in.
Give me the base race, Cam.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, Joinby's going to step up to the tower. I mean, what are you going to do, Scout? Jumps forward. Defiant dance. Down low, but he should be good from this one. Mouse is coming in from the side, but the primary objective was to finish off this tower. And
Talia didn't even utilize her ulti in the bottom side of the map too, so that's just an outward win for Rogue Warriors. They get the mid lane tower. Sure, they didn't get the kill for themselves, but that's not their objectives. They didn't want that. They just wanted the tower. So now Renekton feels so much freer, moving with Camille deeper into the opposing side's jungle. It's much harder for EDG now.
Yep. Free the Croc. Head in there, do what he can. He's picked up the Black Cleaver, moving towards the second item as well. And he's at pretty much one of his bigger power points in the game, where he's still hitting like an absolute truck from base damages. Kahlua accidentally dodges that one and will flash away, or should I say, shadow dash away. SMLZ now being chased down, flash forwards. Ray finds him with the flick and the follow through. Haro just obliterates him. A kill over to EDG.
Insane. Now at least EDG can press up towards this tower. I wonder how Rogue Warriors are going to respond to this. They don't really have anyone in position. Okay, going for Dragon.
There we go. EDG will take this one away unless Flawless somehow finds a miraculous steal, but I doubt it since Taro is moving towards the top side of the pit. So there we go. We'll secure that 160 minutes and clocking out with first Dragon over to EDG.
I mean, iBoy right now is set up to succeed. We've gotten to a point of the game where even though kill-wise nothing's really happening, Rogue Warriors have a slight gold lead, but iBoy has gotten to the point 1-0-1. He already has 1.5 items, I would say. The Rage Blade on top of the Stinger. So he's doing quite well for himself up against Quadra Melee. These team fights should work well for EDG as long as Ray comes in as a proper flank. So going into the team fights, I just want to see how iBoy and Ray set these up. Ray can get one member, be it the Morgana, even I would say Doinby's Renekton. That would be a good setup. I think you do have enough damage to make it so Doinby ends up falling even with the Dominus.
That's going to be a lot of bursts though, because Dominus is a lot of extra HP. And imagine if that goes wrong, Raz. You flip a Renekton into your team, and then Mako and Ivor are sat at the back lines being like, why are you doing this to us?
Look, I want to see it for 2 reasons.
Okay.
One's the successful reason. The other one's the catastrophic iBoy is falling to Renekton, and we don't even know how. Like, I would love to see both these plays. So, I mean, right now, the core of EDG's composition is around the Kai'Sa. They still have Aurelia. I mean, she has teleport, so she can split up. But remember, if she sits on side lanes, she's going to be matched up with the Renekton. We know how that goes. So, seems like EDG, they can try and push lanes, but ultimately, they just want to look for team fights.
Now, it's more boring, but you can also use the Singe defensively to flip Flawless out of his own ultimate. So if he ultimatums onto iBoy, you can defuse his ultimate using the flip.
That's true.
So that's a possibility as well, though I would love to see him flip the Croc.
That's very true. Like, Camille is so difficult to go up against as a squishy AD carry. Here we go.
Blade Cage onto Kahlua. He's completely he's so separated from his team. You don't even understand how separated Kahlua is from his team right now.
Yeah, I mean, even the Shen ulti coming through, it's not going to be completed, obviously. He's gone. So Rogue Warriors getting split up on side of the maps. It's great from EDG, just catching out the fact that Rogue Warriors have better side lanes, and they're just immediately just zoning in on it, focusing on them, breaking it up, and elongating the game so iBoy can get to his Nashor's too.
It's pretty close. And that is brutal. A cage within a cage. EDG will continue to get picks like this as the game goes on, but then it comes down to Rogue Warriors. Can they find that big haymaker? Because in the early game, it always feels like they're pulling back, they're getting ready to launch it, and then it happens in mid lane, it happens around Baron, it's big key fight at like 25, 30 minutes, and it's like, bam, that thing is just a knockout.
The haymaker that we're looking for, because as I already mentioned, quadruple melee, you need to force around these larger objectives, force the enemy team to come to you. So right now, Dragon, Ocean Dragon, I mean, you want to play towards it, but ultimately Baron is going to be the one go-to point of the map. Now just got on towards the map, but it's pretty early on. So I would say about 5 minutes is when Rogue Warriors are going to be really focusing towards that objective and trying to pull EDG in.
Rogue Warriors actually sending Joinby to the bottom lane against Aurelia. Makes sense, but actually Flawless is in tow, in tandem with this, and he had all these walls to play off. Rex moves into the enemy jungle, just in Fugger wall right now. Has been spotted out by these wards, but will clear away this one as he moves back towards the bottom lane. But of course, Rogue Warriors just hunting. If they can find just a random pick onto someone like Scout, it would be huge for them. Taking down the teleport, they're moving towards an objective cross map. Baron has now spawned, but really it's just him just fishing and hunting for potential picks.
Yeah, and EDG is not the team to fall to any of this. They have a fairly squishy composition, so you have to recognize Mako and Haro walking into a side of the map that does not belong to you, that you have not been able to put in the effort to place the vision control. You can't do it. So right now, you don't want to touch any portion of the bottom side of the map, the red side jungle. That's hot lava. They recognize that. They're only existing within the lanes.
Now really just going back to base, and again, I just want to check in on how Kaiser's doing. Yes, there we go. There's the Nash's 2. So now we're firmly sat at 2 items. We have that Gwyntu's and a big power spike with the Nash's on top of it. So next time we find a potential objective to fight over, I think EDG will be feeling pretty happy to start going for these.
Yeah, and you know, let me back up a bit. Let's talk about Doomd a little.
Sure,
because he has 2 items for himself. Specifically, the Essence Reaver is what always people are interested in. Essence Reaver is fantastic just due to Essence Flare as a unique passive that allows him to get a lot of his core kit, Q, W, E, all of them are fantastic for a Renekton.
Yep.
To basically come off a lower cooldown. In one fight, you may be able to see him have 2 stuns with the massive damage that entails with it.
4 dashes.
Exactly, another slice and dice. So once he's popped Dominus, he is incredibly strong. So that power spike alone is why Rogue Warriors want to force a fight. They're just not getting it.
Not yet, but it is in the reserve and something to think about, because if we're trying to dive on top of Eyeboy and shut him down, you've got a Camille who can literally point and click off of the hook shot. You've now got a Renekton who can dash towards you 4 times in the fight and potentially stun you twice. You've got a Shen to jump on top of that, and a Morgana and everything else on the front line. So they're set up to take the kill shot with precision.
Yes, excellent tools, excellent champion for those fights. That's why it's damaging that losing this Scuttler, Rift Scuttle, in the... Oh god, is it really called Rift Scuttler?
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds weird. I always call it Scuttle Crab. Anyways, losing the Scuttle Crab topside is really damaging.
Let's go, here we go. Doinby immediately onto Mako. See ya later. Instantly gonna go down. Doinby low himself. Oh, Killer Instinct. Eyeboy gets the kill, but now he's trapped in the cage. He'll find one, and he will keep moving forward. There is no damage. Triple kill for Eyeboy, and we're not stopping. Scout onto the back lines, finds SMLZ. See you later. 4 kills to EDG, and Mouse runs away.
Oh
but get over here. Ray finds the flick, and he will go down as well. An ace to Edward Gaming.
A clean ace, 23 minutes, so you know they're going to take Baron. And it just starts with the smallest thing. The smallest thing. We knew that Rogue Warriors were going to be on edge, that they wanted to start the fight. Going straight on top of Mako was a flash call. They needed that. They thought they needed that. But yeah, sure, you take down Mako, but suddenly it's Eyeboy that's stacking the damage. It's Ray that's allowing him to get farther into the team fights, to snowball. Really well played, a reactive play from EDG.
And just to speak of the dominance of Rogue Warriors so far this split, they haven't lost a single Baron till now over to Edward Gaming. That's one of the first times I've actually seen a team, as Rogue Warriors have been coming back with the Haymaker, Edward Gaming pop him in the face. Yeah. Sucker punch. I mean, take him out. 5 kills.
They haven't been losing a lot of dragons too. It's about like they're the highest dragon rate so far in the league. So now going up against EDG, not only losing the first Baron they've ever had this split, but the Dragon as well, you can really see them being tested.
Well, more than tested, because EDG now have the Baron over to themselves, a big team fight, slingshotting into the lead now, if ever so slightly. But remember, that was a big amount of gold that just went over to them, and there's 2 towers in advantage to Rogue Warriors as well. So everybody's feeling happy, everybody's rich. Now you have a 5-0-1 Eyeboy and a literal army of minions in the bottom lane.
How did they group that over here?
I have no idea. They just called in reinforcements, they called their friends, and they're all here for the party. Medjai's even being picked up now by Eyeboy as well. This bottom tower is not long for this world. Flawz can do what he can on the backside, trying to clear out some of this vision, but Rogue Warriors may even need to concede an inhib here.
Yeah, this is just too large. Even with the Morgana's Tormented Soil, it's not going to fall down.
Oh, but you can initiate on them onto the front lines. Blade Cage comes up, and it's a complete mess on the front lines, but we're trying to get it towards iBoy. That's a great flick towards the team, and he will go down. Rogue Warriors take out the carry, but is the damage already done? It's a 3-on-3 right now as Joinby kites away. He finds Scout, but he's got the Guardian Angel. Meanwhile on the backline, Mouse kiting away. He's got the sadism up and running, but he finally goes down. There's the execute, comes Scout. He jumps away. Haro goes into perfect timing, and Singe on the backlines finds one. It's 4 kills and make it 5 as Scout comes in and goes out like a bullet.
And I hate to break it to you, Mouse. You ain't celebrating that 500 kill. It's not happening. You lost that team fight. You're just about to lose the game. Singe did so much damage off the poison alone. Kiting's back because it was Rogue Warriors engaged, and then moving forward for the kill. Great fight for EDG.
My God. Chaos into precision. Fantastic stuff out of EDG there in the end, but let's see how it starts because they found iBoy.
Look, they recognize that the true carry is iBoy. They immediately take a damage off of him. Sure, it takes some time before he really dies, and that's where the crux of this comes down to it. Sure, pick the right target. He takes a little bit of time. You recognize the rest of EDG are actually carries themselves. Talia's outputting quite a bit of damage. Singe is doing the same, and Aurelia's diving straight in towards the carries. So even with iBoy down, EDG is able to handily win the fight.
And look at Scout right here. He sees the opportunity. I'm going to follow through. Take the tower aggro. No problem. In one side, out the other.
It's fun. It's fun. It's the most hilarious thing about this game, too, is because of how the mastery's gotten shaken up, almost everyone is running Triumph right now.
Yeah.
So if you win a fight, if you
win hard.
You just win super hard. You can die for so long. You can just get an extra HP back. So, yeah, that one seemed easy to him.
You know, we see the damage dealt graphs all the time in every league, but I would love to see healing done, because I was watching Mako in that fight. Wish comes down, lands onto everybody. Redemption even, onto 3. Oh, ho, ho, ho. In the jungle, Flawless gets caught, not going to die. Okay, that was some clenching going on there. If he was recalling the wrong bush, he was definitely dead from an AP Kai'Sa. But no worries, he's alive for now. Top lane tower is going to go down, but Soraka was putting in some major work in that last fight.
Yeah, it's just going to only get worse. Take a look at the positioning that Mako has here. He recognizes that if iBoy gets picked off, Scout gets picked off, he can keep them alive for a very long time. That was the main problem for iBoy. iBoy took a long time before he fell down. Sure, he had stopwatch for himself, but he was also just getting repeated heals.
Yeah. Okay. Towards Zanya's right now. Rogue Warriors moving forwards, but there's the Blade Cage once again. Scout on the front lines is tanking a lot of damage. Oh my God, he's still alive coming out there from that rocker. But here we go on the front lines. Ray running around the circle. Doinby just gets deleted as he jumps in. Killer Instinct. iBoy moving forwards. Dead before the Shen lands. 2 kills.
This just doesn't seem like Rogue Warriors can ever win a fight. Even if they get the 1 kill, it takes too long. The extra armor, the extra healing that Soraka gives you. No matter what, you lose a kill, but you still win the fight. That's the game here for EDG.
Pushing into the top lane now. Have the numbers advantage, and iBoy is just as strong as he started. Mako low on health, so the battery healer is low, but is still able to put out a bit of support for the team. Still got the Silence Field, still able to get a bit of health back there as well, but Mao's on the offensive. Flash forwards, connects the briefcase. Where's the rest of the team? Because he's by himself right now. Get off of my AD carry. Oh, but Flawless is in there. He takes down iBoy. Ray backing away. Mako on the retreat as well. Rogue Warriors seeing if they can get more of this Baharo back from base. Throwing down the covering fire. Ray caught out. Ultimatum. And it is his. Oh! Jumps away. Are you kidding me? Get away from me, Flawless.
Don't touch me. I mean, like, it's getting ridiculous now. They're even going for this
kill. In the 1 versus 2 separates the Mundo. Here's Mako. Health back. Slowed down. Got the vision. Mouse with the ultimate. Is it enough healing? Yes, it is. He walks it off.
Just stop fighting. Don't do it, Singe. Get out of here. This is, I mean, production just wants to roll at least 1 replay, but they're just not letting him do it. This game is insane, and it's off of EDG's error after their major teamfight success of staying top lane for far too long. Rogue Warriors find a window. They get 3 picks for them, or at least that 1 crucial pick, and they were chasing it down. So let's take a look at it. I wonder how far back. That's really far back.
Okay, we're gonna happen, Raz.
So basically, this is how Rogue Warriors end up losing. You take down Scout, sure. It takes a long time with a lot of healing. And Kai'Sa is just dealing way too much damage Kite's back. So, yeah. Let's see how long this one goes, because this is EDG taking the fight. It should be, okay, thank the Lord.
Crispy.
We don't want to see what happened after that. No EDG fan wants to see what happens after that.
True. I mean, it was a lot of back and forth, and props to Haro, actually, because I want to give him his time in the sun, because Haro has been a player that has received a lot of criticism, analysts and community alike, in the previous meta. This time, 5-0-9 on this Talia. Great setups from these fights, identifying when he can go back in, and the end of that fight, all Haro.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard for a Talia to really engage in a lot of these late game team fights. That's been the real problem for most of these LPL jungle Talias, that they just get run down. But he's been working real well. I mean, Zhonya's makes a lot of sense for him because he understands when he can get in and out of these fights, kiting back as well. So a lot of the minefield he's been placing down, really helpful for the rest of his team. So he's been playing really well for himself.
He has indeed.
Oh,
really
thumbs
nice
up.
To see. Yeah, throw out that thumbs up emoji in the air. In-game. And there you have it. Rogue Warriors on the backside of this Baron. Finds a stun there onto Kahlua, but Kalua's over the wall. He doesn't have his flash, but does have the hook shot. Now, Camille could find this one, but ooh, Ray! Going back and forth, jumping in at light speed, hello! Now he's going to find a flick onto SMLZ, but he did have the black shield running, so all he'll do is delete the shield. Are you kidding? Oh, that plasma landed onto SMLZ, and we all looked at it for a moment. Ibo was thinking about it too, but Maker was holding him back. He was like, don't do it, Iboy. I know that you want to, but don't.
Whatever you do, just don't press R. But yeah, that's Morgana heading back to base. I think she's TP'd right back in. Yeah, just using TP, so that just means at least EDG blow a summoner off of Rogue Warriors. This is how it gets really difficult around the Baron situations, because there are so many members right now, just Mouse and SMLZ have teleport. In most games, it would be 3 members with the mid laner to boot. That even if you get a pick off, they can just rejoin with their teleport. So picking Baron is actually so difficult. They got a chunk, and in most games last split, that means an immediate Baron, but they just have to hold on a little bit longer.
I love watching Irreligious CS waves. Satisfying.
What skin is this one?
Oh, I wasn't actually watching it. I don't know. After taking that look.
Too many animations around that champion. So
it might be Aviator or just Classic.
Okay.
Yeah, Rogue Warriors though, I don't wish to alarm anyone, though I'm just seeing a teleport come through right here from Edward Gaming. I've seen the situation like this before for Rogue Warriors, where they've lost the fight early and maybe fallen behind, and then they come in with a miraculous team fight. The big punch. The all-for-one. Can they do it right here? Because Ray's initiating, moves forwards, he's found the Mundo. Can they burst him out though? Because Mouse is walking off. Aurelia jumps in, but now she's by herself. She has the Guardian Angel. She jumps in once again, but now she's caught out. Ray on the front lines, but we're splitting this fight. Flawless jumps onto Iboy, but where's the team? Guardian Angel is popped and Ray is running amok in the back lines. They found him though. Kahlua shuts him down. However, the first kill is over to EDG. There's the flick, finds 2. Aurelia on the second. Joinby jumps forward, but he's dead as well. Finds the third. There comes Scout onto the 4th. SMLZ, you're going nowhere, kid. Finds the 4th. Mouse on the retreat. He's the only Mundo left alive.
That is sick. I mean, 4 members down on the side of Rogue Warriors. I don't know how they can even come back on this one. This is so difficult, and they might just start the parade moving towards the inhibitor tower.
Mundo versus the world, and I don't know if he can do it, because here comes a 5-man strong team of EDG. The only thing against them is the health bars, but they have a Raka. There is one Nexus turret down. Mundo trying to run interference right now, but he's flicked, he's thrown, he's everything right now, and he is dead. Iboy has found the kill, he has found the mark, and he has found the game. EDG will take game 1 against Rogue Warriors.
Talk about a game now. EDG, off of these team fights, really come out ahead. I mean, it really all started from the one decision Rogue Warriors made in diving on towards the Soraka. And it was him. Doomby found the opportunity, he found the play. What kind of smirk is that? I don't want to see that.
I love your SMLZ.
But they found that one play. Obviously, it turned against them, and you can really see the benefit, the value of an AD carry, because as you dive in towards the inoptimal target, you're all in on the fight. Everyone on the side of Rogue Warriors that chose a poor fight, and they all paid the price. You can see how the gold immediately swung back towards EDG, just based off that play alone.
Look at these damage numbers. SMLZ, actually, that's what he was smirking at. He was looking at I know SMLZ checks the damage graph every single time off of stage, and he was just looking at the fact that he out-damaged Iboy. That's, okay, we found it. We know why.
He had to stop himself. He's like, even with the Glacial Shroud that sat in my pocket for the entirety of the game.
Did he go AP?
He went full AP.
He did after, but not full AP because of the Glacial Shroud.
The one Glacial Shroud sitting there, but does a lot. Just comes down to the Fermented Soil, the ultimates that he had. I mean, ultimately, you can deal that much damage, and you're going to lose the game if your composition is going to be running straight towards the Kai'Sa. At the very end of it, they targeted the Kai'Sa really well.
They did, yeah.
But it was the first engage that was really problematic because that's what got Kai'Sa rolling.
It was, and also at the backside of that fight, Singe managed to just run around in circles, and no one could even approach iBoy because Flaw's got in there, but there was nothing else, right? You found the targeted missile, but there's no Renekton, there's nothing else from there. So really, really nice stuff out of EDG in the end because, to be honest, for me, it was that initial fight that they found around the Baron that just set them up for success for the rest of the game. iBoy with 5 kills at that point is an unstoppable Kai'Sa.
Yeah, I mean, that team fight was interesting. I think one part of that skirmish that really showed it that it was actually going to be really impossible for Rogue Warriors to come out with a victory after that was Camille got a pretty good engage off that. Yeah. Just went straight towards the Kai'Sa. Bursted her quite a bit, but remember Soraka placing down the silence field, the redemption, the healing. This was the initial fight that really started against it because Rogue Warriors had a really good early game. Immediately blew up Mako, but then that's the problem. Doinby immediately blown up. iBoy in a fantastic position to change this one home. So unfortunate for Rogue Warriors that they found a proper opportunity, but it was really just impatience. Had they had used that bottom side control, started to wait a little bit, 23 minutes into the game, you can put your vision towards the top side of the map. Yeah. Then you would actually have a good position for your composition, but I mean, you just got wiped off of one call.
And that's the power, really, of some of these prodigies in the LPL. Because last split, remember, was the split of new AD carries coming in of, like, I would say the big 4. We had Uzi, of course, at the top. You've got Jaculov. You've got even SMLZ coming in there as well. And you've got iBoy. Massive AD carries right there. And you can see the damage that those guys can do when put in those situations. Able to identify when they can jump in like that. Just fantastic stuff to see from them.
And let me tell you what I'm expecting in Game 2. Because
what's that, Raz?
You'll never have a top-tier AD carry like SMLZ lose in the fashion that he did on a Morgana pick and not say in Game 2, pick me Morgana again. He wants to find himself on a pick like Kai'Sa. He wants to go towards something that's a little bit more, give me the pressure.
Yes.
Give me the attention. Because some SMLZ has had phenomenal stats, phenomenal performance thus far this split. Last split as well. This year has just been really the year for SMLZ. So for him to go on towards a Morgana pick is great for the composition, but the composition didn't play out properly. I feel like the Band-Aid will be, well, give me a carry.
We're going to keep rolling fights here just to give a breakdown of what happened overall in that game right now, and we'll get to MVP in just a little bit. But for sure, we were talking about just in general the eggs into the basket, right? And SMLZ can definitely carry them.
And this is what I love from Rogue Warriors because whilst being incredibly far behind, they still find windows and they still challenge teams. Happened in the top side of the map, happened here as well, where they're just immediately were able to blow up the AD carry and Kai'Sa, and then this is when they realized that even with Kai'Sa down, with how much gold she had in her pockets, there's still multiple carries still alive on the side of EDG that can still take it home. Haru had an excellent performance here, same with Scout on the Aurelia pick. I wonder if he gets the Aurelia again. That's always going to be a question. I think Rogue Warriors handled the Aurelia very well this time around. I think the Renekton was an excellent pick.
Loved it.
And it just comes down to execution from that point forward. They shouldn't be afraid unless if they don't want to find an Aurelia counter. I think Aatrox got banned the first game for obvious reasons. If he finds an Aatrox pick, if he finds his Renekton once again, then I think you don't even have to necessarily ban the Aurelia. We'll just have to see if Scout comes off again. I
mean, it was triple bans, actually, at Doinby. They banned all the picks he's picked so far, including Kled, including the Aatrox, and the Ornn as well into the mid lane. All picks that do well into the Aurelia. So the fact he brings out yet another one, it's like, okay, maybe we start hitting different lanes. But this is all credit to EDG at that point. We're going to show the final fight, which is actually the one in top lane here, coming out from the two teams. Yeah, absolutely is a fun one. Now, I assume it's the one at the start. Yeah, it is. It's not going to be the long one.
This is actually technically the long one. This was the one where they go all in towards Scout, a great opportunity for Rogue Warriors. But you can see, even with all of this being done, too much healing coming in from Mako. A team that's this far ahead with a Soraka in their back pocket is going to just clean out these fights. That's why there's never a right call. Sad to hear, because you're like, we can get one pick, but it takes too long. The rest of them, if we can't get to the Soraka, she's way too far in the back line. Really not much you can do there. I would say perhaps splitting up the map, but we saw what ended up happening, and Baron was a possibility on the map, so you really did have to eventually group up.
And think about it, there were a lot of fights in that game. Imagine if any one of those went Rogue Warrior's way, then it turns into a Baron, and then it is that miracle comeback. You know, it's the ability for them to always just push beyond their limits and go for a fight even when they're down so far is what makes Rogue Warriors a massive threat. And then following that, in that top lane fight, because we're talking about the longer exchange trade, I was talking about when they just chased them into the top lane, and then finally Haro at the end finds the cleanup kills. And in fact, Haro will find our MVP in this one. Very happy to give it to him. Good job, Haro, because as we said, a lot of criticism from the community, a lot of criticism from the casters, but he has absolutely started to show up this split, and it is shown in his Taliyah play.
I mean, he's gotten his first MVP, his first real showing on the stage too, because Clearlove has played all these games. So it's nice to finally see him on the stage with some value. The value of being able to pick up these carries that Clearlove is not. So now we have an early game EDG that can do what they can. So I like the fact that this is coming through from EDG. It buffs up their strategy going into Rift Rivals.
It's one of the first times that we've actually seen Haro come into the Rift and everyone's like, Haro's coming onto the Rift. You know, it's going to be a completely different style for them. All right, guys, we are going to take a quick break, but when we get back, we'll hear with Game 2 between these two Titans.
想要征服他人，必先战胜自己。EDG 的队名就是鞭策我们的动力。